right. Aloha, aloha. How's everybody doing? We're live. Core Team Hawaii. Derek is traveling. Mahe's got stuff going on. So it's your boy Kenny. To do our best today to keep this rolling, keep being your source of information for moving to Hawaii. I'm going to go over new releases today. We have Malu Koa and Koa Ridge to talk about. We're going to get into some details there. We've done some recent video in the neighborhood. We've got more for you, and they are actually released right now. And then we'll have Jody come in from Pacific Rim Mortgage, the master of lending here, talk about just current state of affairs with rates, but also a new program for some zero down type stuff too. So stay tuned for that, please. As always, send some comments in if you have questions. We're also going to try to go back over any questions we may not have been able to answer last week on our live. So off we go. Do you have my computer up? All right. So as we start to open up and look at some details on Malu Koa, which is a mid-rise condo development that's going on in central Oahu in Koa Ridge, which is Waipio. Want to make sure that we just ask you to come to our website, go down to the bottom here, coreteamhawaii.com, and fill out this form and let us know if whether it's new release or you're looking for a condo in town or if you're looking for a single family on the windward side. Let us know where you're at in your journey. We'd love to connect with you. As we talk about new releases, reach out to us, and there's more to it. We're going to cover a lot of stuff today, and we just would like to be that group that you trusted to reach out to us. Okay, so go down to the bottom of our website on this contact form that you can see, and let us know who you are, where you're coming from, and we'll connect with you. Okay. So new releases first. We're gonna have some renderings and some stuff going on Kenji's side there. I'm gonna start off by just kind of getting into the floor plans and a little bit of basic pricing and kind of go over the timelines of what's going on. They are currently available for release now. And what I would say about that is connect with us and we will coordinate with somebody there at Koa Ridge to understand what that release looks like, when they're actually going to do some lottery stuff, and how to get yourself registered for the first round of units that are going to be available for move-in around the end of 2025. So this is fresh. As I did a site visit last Friday, it is red dirt. They're just renderings, just a scale model visit for getting to understand what that complex looks like. So we're going to open that up a little bit, try to make it a little more real, and then please just reach out to us and let us know if there's any questions we can answer for you along the way. And again, just leave us some comments. Without further ado, if you are not familiar with the area, I'm going to give you a little bit of an idea for where this is at in Koa Ridge, and then I also have maps up. So if I'm on my computer, Waipio is sort of above and just town side of Waipahu. It's technically a Waipahu address, zip code, but it's just south of Mililani and just east of Pearl City. The schools, as I understand it, are going to be Pearl City schools. And so it's very central, very, very good launching point is how we tend to describe the area, because you're right between Kamehameha Highway, which is a main vein that runs all the way up, and H2, which is even more of a thoroughfare that goes all the way down into town and all the way up to the North Shore as well. So it's a great location for proximity to town and simpler commutes than some of the other areas on the island, okay? If I go back over to the renderings and some of the maps and site stuff, where they're positioning this first building is Malu Koa West. There will be an east, and then there will be I think they're calling it Malu Loa. I think it's Malu Loa will be on the south, east, and west side. So This blue building here is the first building. That is what's released now. That's due for move-in end of 2025. It is on the northwest side of the village, or the green space park area that everybody is very curious about. It's going to bring a village vibe. It looks like the oval around it's going to be about the size of a track, so you can get your quarter miles in. Lots of green space. They're trying to attract kind of a food truck vibe, not so much restaurants and stores and stuff. They're going to keep it super local, village style, and not try to grow it too much. So building 1 and then building 2 will complete this rectangle, and then they'll move over here and do Malukoa East. Same thing, a building here and a building here. That's building 2 on the Malukoa West side is supposed to be 2026, and then 2027, and then 2028, and then 2029. So we're in the early stages. As you saw the map on Google, Google has not been out for a while. So this is actually all Koa Ridge, where all that red dirt is. So when I say red dirt, that's what I mean. Even when you look at it on Google Maps, it still looks that way. Lots of single-family homes in the area. They're doing some releases for that stuff too. There's some still available. So please just reach out to us, hit the website, let us know how we can help you. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And so there are studios, 1s, 2s, and 3s, all as a part of Malukoa West. We will detail out for you which ones are released first. They're not going to release every single unit in one release. They will stage and stagger this out, okay? Studios start in the mid 5s, and there's not a lot of fluctuation there as far as pricing is concerned. 548 to 555, I believe, is the range. 1 bedrooms, mid to upper 6s, 2 bedrooms, low to high 8s. So there's a bigger range or fluctuation there, and some of the different square footages on the 2 bedrooms. Excuse me. And then the 3 bedrooms are going to be on the ends or the corners. So they're going to be sort of the high demand pieces, but they're going to start just above $1 million, like $1,015,000 to $1,050,000-ish is what we're looking at on these. So what is really cool about this is that suburban residential feel, but having the vibe of being in town. So they're taking a little bit of urban flavor and interjecting that into an otherwise pretty residential suburban neighborhood. We would love to hear any of your questions and comments on it. And the 1 bedrooms, if we can, do you have some renderings, Kinch? Okay. Very nicely appointed. You'll have a few options on cabinets and flooring. They're generally going to be packaged. You're not going to be able to pick and choose everything. So it's not like semi-custom, but they'll do a cool package and a warm package similar to some of the other new builds. Mahe has been out, and so we do have some additional video for this. I've been out there again. Like I said, I was out last Friday for a specific client. Shout outs to Jacqueline and Craig. They are seriously considering a 2-bedroom. They may wait for the second building just for specific view potential and breezes and things like that. So touch on a little bit of the nuance to that. Being on the northwest side, you'll get some Waianae mountain range views from some of these units that are on the west wing. You'll also get some from the north wing as you're facing the street. These are interior roads within the neighborhood, so we're not talking about facing any major thoroughfares. Probably really not going to be much of an issue with traffic, noise, or anything. The entrance to these buildings is very specific to the north wing side and pulling in here, and then this is all going to be parking on the interior. So figure on like a quad of parking in the middle of this rectangle as they complete it. And then there's going to be some covered parking underneath the units. It's not garage with a door, but it's carport style. So picture this whole building kind of being elevated up enough to where you can actually park underneath your unit is the way that it's rendered anyway. My understanding would be if you are parked here, you're probably living in this 3-bedroom unit, and so on and so forth. Another detailed note that I would say, being out there and really looking at the rendering and looking at the site, even though it's still all just dirt, is some of these units where the lanais are positioned, it's good for privacy. You're not like high-fiving your neighbor from the other side of the lanai. But at the same time, there is a wall there, and it may affect a little bit of what your viewpoint might be if you're looking for a Mauka view. It may be hindered a little bit depending on where you're at. These internal units that are facing the parking lot probably will go for a little bit on the lower side of the pricing scale. Some of these, though, also will be facing Diamond Head, so I should be careful not to say that too quickly, because a Diamond Head view always brings a little bit more hot sauce. So as we progress through this, and as we take any comments or questions, as we really continue to dive into this for you guys, we're happy to really have that conversation. There's so much more to it than just a plot map and the renderings that Kenji's showing you guys. So if you've thought about Koa Ridge, or maybe you haven't and we're bringing it to you for the first time, again, please feel free to hop on our website, go down to the bottom. Our team assistant, Charlotte, will most likely be the first one to reach out to you. Just get some basic info and make sure we have good contact information. And then one of us will reach out and help answer any questions you have and see if this is the right spot for you. Okay. Kenj, do we have any questions or comments coming up? Joe Gator. For these prices, I could buy a nice Uachi and afford to move around and enjoy Hawaii at its best, and I would not have to wait a year to do it. True. New construction definitely is one of those things where you have to be patient. You have to position yourself in the right way. But it has its benefits as well. So appreciate the comment. Don't disagree. It's definitely takes some patience to be in new construction. We've got a few new construction clients that they're 2 years deep at this point for construction delays, things like that. So appreciate the comment. Agreed. Take some time. Do we have anything else? Yep. I think we'll see if we can have Jody hop in, and we'll spill some tea on a new lending program and just talk about rates a little bit. Okay. Okay. For Ho'opili, we actually just another question on Laura NP before I transition over to Ho'opili. Laura NP, thank you for reaching out. Probably too early to ask this, but do you happen to have an idea as to the HOA fees? They have said very carefully and with some caution, because they just don't know yet, they are looking to try to stay within the 300 to 500 range. What I do know for sure is that it's going to be based on the size of the unit. So your studios will have the lowest HOA maintenance fee. It's going to be a per square foot thing, right? So the 3 bedrooms will be the highest and studios will be the lowest. for the most part, these type of mid-rise condo townhomes are averaging right now in the 400 range, some a little less, some closer to 500. So they'll be looking to compete. What does that look like in 2025 when they're actually move-in ready and as they establish association? We don't know, but give you as best answer I can, and we do appreciate that question, Laura. Hi, Jody. So, how are you?
Good.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
So, before we spill the tea on this new program that we want to chat about and learn more about, how are rates doing right now?
They're doing pretty good. They kind of went up a little, and then jobs reports came out. So where unemployment came back at 4.1% on Friday, which is the highest it's been since November of 2021. So that did apply some pressure on of course, the Fed.
Mm-hmm.
And they are talking to Congress tomorrow.
So more to come.
Yeah, so that's going to be really insightful to see if they're like, yes, we know the jobs report came back, but it's okay. All the cameras went off.
Oh.
Well, okay, so
Technical
I can keep talking, which is the Fed going to say yes, unemployment is at its highest since 2021, November. However, blah, 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 right?
Yes.
Inflation is still sticky. We still need to see the inflation numbers go down. Are they going to say that? Or is it going to be more messaging of, this is kind of the statistics we needed to support an interest rate reduction in September. So that's really, although I will say that from Friday, there was already an improvement.
Okay.
So today we're hovering conventionally around 6.75.
Okay.
And VA, we're hovering around 5.99.
Okay. So went up a little bit last week or two.
Yeah.
Because we were sort of there. It went up a little bit and came back down.
Yeah. So like it went up kind of a lot. It went up like a quarter because we were doing some quotes within the past week to 10 days at like VA 6.25. So it was kind of a nice drop back down.
One day at a time, and then let's see what this meeting brings closer to the end of the week and what the reaction looks like. You don't think that they would do anything prior to September, though? Just that's the content we need to make that decision.
Yeah, but the thing is, what the market does is what the verbiage that Derek and I use, right, is that it's baked in.
Yeah.
So if already the messaging and the optics are there is going to be a rate reduction in September, we're going to see improvements in August.
Got it.
And July, like now, like immediately, because the market will react to whatever Jerome Powell and the Fed are saying.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's preheated. It's baked in. Lenders might react prior to it actually being stated by Mr. Powell.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, well, no, not it's being stated, but just whatever his cryptic messaging is implying.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Larry Tran, how's it? I'm doing good. Leading the live. Be careful. I'm just plugging in, substituting it may be the better word. Joe Gator in Florida, so there's no way that could qualify anyway. What do we expect? The property taxes and insurance would be for a studio or a 2-bedroom. Thanks. Insurance is a big question. Property taxes are really low here. Lowest in the country by percentage. Cost of real estate here changes those numbers overall, right? But we've touched on insurance quite a bit. I will, as we start to shift over towards Ho'opili a little bit, I will let you know that there's some stuff going on with Nahele, which is new construction but almost done, whereas Malukoa is still dirt, and so they're much newer and much more early on in the process. But Nahele has had an insurance premium increase that we're aware of now. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to give specific details, but I'll just tell you that if you are living in Nahele, it is going up. If you're buying in Nahele or considering buying in Nahele, there's some help from now to the end of the year from D.R. Horton for new buyers, but after 1 January, it's going to be an association and or a vote with D.R. Horton and current owners as to how that premium policy and what those new numbers look like is hashed out accordingly. So yes, Joe, you're 100% on point. Florida, I know, has insurance issues. It's really kind of a national thing at this point, but fires, hurricanes, floods, all of that type of stuff is really shooken the insurance world up, and it's coming to fruition in real estate. Yeah. Before we go over to Ho'opili, talk to me about this 0% program.
Yeah, so
this sounds awesome.
So we all know about USDA, which is going to be zero down. There are low debt to income ratio requirements, and there is an income restriction.
Okay.
You have to make less than a certain amount per household, and then there is location specifics. So you have to be Eva Beach and West or north of Oahu Manu. So there's only certain places that USDA is going to work for, and certain income types and certain debt to income ratios.
Right.
So for this zero down, which is a portfolio program, really cool program.
Okay.
It is going to allow for credit scores as low as 680.
All right.
It's going to allow for a 45% debt to income ratio.
That's solid.
That's lower than conventional, which is going to require a minimum of 3% down. You could go up to 50%.
Right.
So that's going to be a little lower there. And but then of course you get to do zero down, and then no income limit. So it's not like, okay, well, sorry, I know you're a first-time home buyer, but sorry, you don't get to do this program.
That's great.
Because you make too much. And it does require a 2 months reserves.
Okay.
So if your mortgage payment is going to be $2,000, you need to have not only what you need for closing costs, but an additional $4,000.
Right.
Or $2,000 times 2 months. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I haven't closed one yet. It just
It's new,
brand new, July 1st.
Got it.
So it's exciting. I mean, it's an opportunity for people, first-time home buyers that are going to own or occupy the property. So no investors, no second home, zero down.
Got it. So breaking that down a little bit in numbers, let's take a $600,000 home. So we're in condo townhome realm, 3 to 5% down. Let's use 3% because that's what you had mentioned. Instead of 18 grand down plus closing costs, yes, your DTI could be a little higher, meaning you could be carrying a little bit more debt and still qualify with that debt compared to what your income level is. We need to be a little bit less debt carried, but we can take the 18 grand and just set it to the side. 0%, right? So it's just some closing costs.
Right.
Gotcha.
So if you only have, let's say you only have 20K, but you really need 600K because it's just for your family size, for your lifestyle, for whatever. It's just what it's going to take.
Right.
Then this program can be considered, whereas a conventional 3% down wouldn't work because you're going to need the 3% down plus you're going to need your closing costs, which that'll be somewhere between 9 to 11K.
Right.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that 1 to 2% range for closing costs.
Yep.
Yeah. So a 3% down payment program is more like 5% all in to get across the finish line.
Right. And and the 3% down again is first time home buyer only.
Right.
It is credit specific. It does have a higher private mortgage insurance. So the 3% down does have an income limit as well.
Right.
So even though it's a conventional and it's not USDA, the conventional first-time home buyer 3% down scenario does have an income limit requirement.
Not more than.
Correct.
And this one doesn't.
This one doesn't. Yeah, this one doesn't have an income limit, which is...
I like this program.
Yeah, it's really... I can't wait to use it, for the right buyer that's going to be... A lot of times it's hard to stay under 45% debt to income ratio when you're looking, plus 700,000. Like it just is a difficult calculation to achieve.
Right.
But, if you don't have very much debt, no auto loan, and you really don't carry a big balance on credit cards and stuff, then it's a lot easier to achieve.
Certainly a piece to the puzzle that could definitely fit for some. And if it does, it seems like a no-brainer. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome. Do we have any questions? We have a Ho'opili question. Sarah, thank you for reaching out. Nahele have different insurance rates when compared to similar units in Ho'opili. Example, single-level condo units with similar square footage, bedroom, bathroom numbers. To be determined, Sarah. I'm familiar with Nahele because I had a specific client go out to view those homes and consider purchasing. And so I'm more familiar with exactly what's happening in Nahele. My understanding, though, is that really insurance is going to touch more condos and disrupt that part of the market than townhomes, and then townhomes a little bit more so than single-family detached homes. Is it going to affect Kohina, Kaikea, Akoko, all the other townhome subdivisions in Ho'opili? I would just say yes, but without overgeneralizing that. It's really, the insurance policy is a master plan. It's a master policy over the whole building, right? So it's not really specific to the studio or the one bedroom or the 3-bedroom or the end unit or the top level. It's, if you're sharing a building, here's the policy, X amount of units divided up, here's your new premium, and that's going to increase your monthly HOA maintenance fee according to, this is what the premium was last year and this is what the premium is this year. And up it goes. So, Jody, do you want to add anything to that, or is that a pretty good breakdown?
No, that's a pretty good breakdown. I mean, it's just to understand that it's not like my unit. It's, it's the entire phase.
Right.
Really, that needs to be looked at as the phase as a whole, which could be how many units? I mean, a lot of units. And the coverage is a blanket policy. So it's not an easy, it's not an easy guess to make as far as like how much it'll increase.
Right.
And what other phases are going to be impacted and how they're going to be impacted.
That's fair.
Scary.
Yeah, I've seen a few specific scenarios with clients that have already reached out and said, hey, help me understand this, 3X to 6X. And a 6X, if you had, say, a $300 or $400 HOA maintenance fee, or in a lighter HOA, like some of these subdivisions we're talking about in Ho'opili, a 6X might increase it nearly double.
Yeah.
Right? 6X meaning if it was $100 a month, now it's $600 a month. Or if it was $1 million last year, it's going to be $6 million for the whole building for 2025.
Yeah.
That's maybe the better way to break it down. Okay. And then how many units are there? 6 million divided by X is your increase. And it's coming in the form of assessment. Makakilo Gardens 3. We have a client that was considering, and we found out the seller was on the board, and whether she was spilling it early or it was going to be found in condo docs if we were going to submit an offer, right? So Makakilo Gardens 3 is another one that they're doing an assessment that's going to be $260-ish a month for 10 months. So it's a very short special assessment to cover the unknown increase in a premium there as well. So we're not picking on Nahele, we're not picking on Ho'opili. This is islands-wide, statewide, nationwide, I think.
Yep.
So these are great questions, great comments. We appreciate it. We're not going to hide from it, but we also don't know what we don't know, and it's really going to be case by case. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Because if a building was better insured, then the cost increase is going to be lower.
Right.
I mean, and you don't know necessarily, and back when you bought, perhaps, it wasn't even a thing. So,
Yeah.
For one of my condos, they are also doing it in the form of a special assessment. But it's, it's almost double. So, and it's for the foreseeable future. So there's no, they're doing it in the form of a special assessment, but it's where there's no end date.
It's a long-term loan, not a...
We don't know when it's going to end.
Yeah.
We are just telling you this is how much the insurance is going up, and we are passing that on to each homeowner or unit owner as in the form of a special assessment. So,
Just, I would take a moment to have just a quick selfish plug. Be sure that if you are considering buying, reach out to us as a team. I would shout out Aiden for sure. He's done a lot of kind of control processes to vet out precursor questions. If you like X condo building in town or X townhome complex in Kaneohe, we have a set list of questions that we can ask an insurance provider to see what writing might be on the wall in advance of considering an offer. And I would know Pacific Rim Mortgage and Jody and the team to be of that same due diligence as they're working for the right lending program for you, what programs are best. And there's an insurance underwriter that you get to deal with now in this, and you guys have really attacked that in a strong way. And so just please reach out to us, again, down at the bottom of our website, and then as we progress and consider, we can introduce you to Pacific Rim and the team here to make sure that what you're doing is a smart move and there's no surprise. Can we guarantee it? No. Have we had situations where we helped somebody buy and then just a few months later, oops, what happened? We can only go as far as we can go with the information that's provided to us. But we are doing that, and we want that for everybody that we work with. So there's a few more comments and questions. There's a PMI question. So Michael Lotta, thank you for the question. Is PMI higher on the new program? Can you remove PMI with appreciation?
So, yeah, you're going to be able to remove PMI with the necessary 20% equity gain, which is similar to conventional. It is an administrative process. You have to get, the appropriate forms, fill it out, prove validate the value and validate that the equity is there that's needed. And then upon approval, the PMI will come off. So yeah, the PMI, I don't think it's going to be higher per se. But it's hard to answer that, because higher than what? So there is no other 100% financing program other than USDA. So is it going to be a higher, what we call mortgage insurance factor, which is how we calculate the monthly payment? I would think so. I mean, I haven't priced one out yet, but I can confirm that. However, just my thought is, yeah, it's going to be a little higher because you're financing a little bit more.
Got it. It makes sense. Larry Tran, yes, ouch. Discussed potential insurance issues with Hele. I know that's a project that you were considering, and you're hanging on. We are going to get into the Ho'opili stuff. Thank you for hanging on, Larry. And Sarah, again, really appreciate the comments and keeping us rolling here. That really kind of covers for now all the insurance questions. For Ho'opili, what I wanted to bring up was there's 2 new projects, one CPR and one single family detached, Molehu and Noho Papa. Molehu being the CPR. So CPR just means sort of like 0 lot. Your home may be been shifted to the lot line on one corner, and if you put solar up, you might have to borrow your neighbor's front yard gate to get in and touch that equipment for maintenance reasons or anything like that. I don't know if it's the location of where they're actually building or
The
I'm
market.
just not sure. The market maybe a little bit. They've released a lot and they're releasing again, and it feels like maybe there's a little bit of a slowdown there, and they're putting some incentives out. So reach out to us and we can help you with those details.
So there might be some value there.
There might be some value there. It's really going to be about where it's positioned, the floor plans, and for Noho Papa, they're going to be similar to Kanalani, if you've been following us. They wrapped up on all single-family homes and took a break and kind of pushed into some different areas around Ho'opili. So let me see if I can pop back in here. Got my computer. Not that. There we go. So if we move away from Koa Ridge and over to Ho'opili, where they're building now is between Farrington Highway and the H1. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit more here, and I'm doing this left-handed. Bear with me. I'm not ambidextrous. So they're basically building right in here. So Farrington Highway is, I wouldn't call it a main vein, but it goes at some point all the way out to Waianae. It kind of takes over H1 as H1 disappears into Koalina, and Farrington Highway becomes the highway going out to Waianae, and it goes all the way back through into Waipahu, Pearl Cities, and then it becomes Kamehameha Highway again. So it is not a major thoroughfare, but it is a throughway for sure. And then you have the H1. They're literally putting homes up. They have flags that are tall enough to where you can see the flags on the freeway. That's how close the houses are. So is that it?
That could be it.
I could see some people saying.
What are they? How much are they? Ballpark.
Low to mid 8s, up into just a touch over $1 million on the big side for the Noho Papa single family detached. Smaller lots as per usual with Ho'opili. And then the Molehu on the low to mid 8s are the ones that are a little bit smaller square footage and even smaller lots as well.
Like 0 lot line.
0 lot style CPRs, yeah.
And no HOA?
Oh, no, there's HOA. For Noho Papa, it's just the association fee, so not a maintenance fee because those are single family detached. I think it went up
Like
$10. It's about $80.
Yeah.
78 or something
Yeah.
like that now. On Molehu, because they're CPR, they're going to be an association, and I believe it's going to be 110. It's lower.
Okay.
It's lower. It's
That's
not
good.
condo townhome style 3, 4, 5. Get into town on the towers, and it's $1,000, but still a little bit of an association fee for Molehu. I'm not really sure. I like the floor plans. I think it's good, small single family home for the potential buyer and the client that maybe wants to have their own little yard space for the dog, or just maybe that
What's
aversion
the,
to the
like,
attached
parking?
wall. Garage.
Garage?
Yeah, they all have a 2-car garage.
And is it like no parking on the road or?
Molehu, I believe, is going to be like that shared alleyway and just like a pad when your garages face each other.
Right.
So that type of build. Noho Papa is garage and driveway. So I think Noho Papa's doing a little bit better, but they've released both twice within the month.
Ouch.
And so there's some inventory out there. So if
Yeah.
you're interested and this kind of location and some freeway access is appealing to you and you're okay with some of that traffic noise that goes along with the convenience and the access, reach out to us. We'd be happy to go through that with you, see if what they're doing for their incentives works for you, or maybe Jody can have a conversation with you and see if there's a better program through Pacific Rim as well. She has been known to do that for us a few times. So that really was kind of the tea to spill on Ho'opili.
Do you have an update on the school? So one of our buyers, our mutual buyers,
Yeah.
they're like trying to get out of there because there's no school yet, even though there's a land where the school is
Right.
going to go. But so their kids are in another school that would be not obviously Ho'opili school.
Right.
And
So I don't even think they actually know.
yeah.
Sorry, we
'Cause
like
those-
their crew, but I don't want it to sound like we're talking smack.
Oh, no.
So the elementary school, they flattened out all the land right by the Soho pool, but nothing since. And they
Right.
did that months ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's something city, county, or
Like
state
permitting
for the building. Honiuli is active. They had a full school year for 2024, late 23, 24. So the middle school is active, open, and doing well. Got good reviews for year one. Elementary school, right in the middle of the master plan development. There's a high school going in. Kinj, do you have my screen? Where they're developing now here. A couple other little details that I can definitely help out with. Where they're building between Farrington Highway and H1, that's actually a Kapolei zip code now.
Oh.
It's not Eva Beach anymore. So if you bought somewhere down here in Ho'opili in the early years, as I understand it, it would be Eva Beach, not Eva Beach. It would Eva Elementary in Eva Villages, and then Honouliuli when it opened, and then you would go to Kapolei High School. They're gonna build a high school at some point up here, and that might be for that client. It's either the high school or the elementary school, or a little bit of both, and the delays or how long is that going to be? We moved here because we wanted our kids to be able to walk to school, that type of concern, right? And that's valid. Derek and I had a little bit, not an argument by any stretch, but we were just debating like, no, it's Campbell, it's Eva Beach, so it's got to be Campbell High School. And I was like, no, I think they go to Kapolei. And now for sure they'll be going to Kapolei because newest construction now moves them into the Kapolei zip code.
Right.
So it'll be all Kapolei schools.
Right.
Right. So
Well, Kapolei is better than Campbell anyways, right, Kenji?
careful. Let's not open that
Just
bag.
kidding.
Kenji, thanks for letting me know we had a question. Laura, another question, and a good one. How far is Waianae Coast Health Center from Koa Ridge? Counter commute. You're going west as everybody else is going to be headed east into town in the morning. So depending on when you work is always kind of that next question. But if we're assuming a 9 to 5 or a normal work day, probably about 30 on a really good day, probably 45 would be more realistic. Because the health center is not at the south edge of Waianae. It's not on the Nanakuli side. It's closer to the Makaha side.
Yeah.
So you're going up Farrington Highway a good bit before you get there. So short story long, probably about 45 minutes would be the realistic expectation I would set for you. If you're going earlier or later, maybe a little quicker. If we do it on Google Maps, let me put this in real quick. Koa Ridge. Let's see how close we're putting me to the test. See how close I was on the. So here is Waianae Coast, and let's get directions. Oops, that's not it. Yeah. There we go. Recently pinned. There we go. 32 minutes. That's a right now thing, and it is 1220. And then we'll center it up so we can see what it looks like, okay? I'll even zoom in a little bit. Got a couple of different options, but I think you're really just going to be coming, you can go out H2 and go around. That's what the dark blue is. That's going to be your most obvious route. But if you come out Kamehameha Highway, you can maybe shave a few minutes if you know what you're doing. It's showing that it's quicker to do H2. I said 30 to 45. I think I passed that pop quiz.
Yeah, good job.
And great question. Thank you for that. Sarah, new Ho'opili build locations look on the map like the new homes are very detached from community amenities. That is a very, very good observation. I would agree to that. And down here on the ground in the field, I feel like that's part of it.
How far is it? It just seems, it does seem far.
Yeah, let me zoom back in. Get these off.
Because where we play, Kenji, where we play soccer, like that is like the spot. That's the spot
Yeah,
to
that
be.
is super central to Ho'opili in general. So, Sarah, yes, I think that could probably not in whole, but certainly in part be what's going on. So, this is where they're building right now. And it's two subdivisions, Molehu and Nohopapa. If you really have to go over, again, it looks like Google needs to get out here and get some stuff done, huh? Here's your soccer park.
I can't believe it's not updated.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot believe it.
It's interesting.
Yeah, that's the soccer park. Okay.
Yeah.
That's like where everything is.
This Ko'olakoko is where we had Aiden and his crew sleep on the sidewalk for some of the initial Nahele releases and opens. And then Iwi Kuamo'o is this street here. That's kind of a main vein going sort of north and south through the middle of construction. And so Soho Pool and the soccer park is here. And so, yes, you're going out onto Koalakai Parkway and TBD, I don't think they're going to be doing any entrance off of Koalakai Parkway into here. I think you're going to turn right on Farrington and left into your neighborhood, if that makes sense. So you're some city blocks away, not just, I don't think this is actually walkable. It could be a jog. It would be an exercise walk.
It's walkable.
But it's a 15, 20 minute
Yeah.
walk. Yeah. It's an exercise walk, not just like we're not talking Kailua Town or Waikiki, go hang out.
Right.
We're not connected to T-Presso or the local Joe's.
Right.
We're not going to walk for that coffee in the morning. We might walk for a workout to go to the soccer park with our kids for them to play, but we're not going to walk to the pool.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to drive to the pool.
Yeah,
So
driving.
good on you. That's a very fair question or potential concern, and maybe put it on the short list of why they're maybe needing some help and doing some incentives on the sales there.
Are there going to be any flex units?
Not there. That's all just CPR and single family detached. So just single family residences. Behind Nahele on the Iwi Kuamo'o side are going to be more mixed use Kohina style in the future. But right now they're just focused on completing this subdivision or two subdivisions kind of being built at the same time, which is normal for them. They were doing Kanalani and Ikena dual action all the way through. So there are more condo townhome style mixed use type things coming, but probably next year at the soonest before they would start. We just know that it's going to be there because we're there pretty often, and they're like, we can't guarantee views of Diamond Head if you go building one in Nahele on the east facing side, because there's going to be future mixed use buildings here. And if you're in building 2 facing north, we can't really guarantee sunsets in Waianae because there's going to be buildings between here and the rail. And so there's there's so much more development going on, and same can be said for Koa Ridge. So again, we're not picking on Ho'opili or D.R. Horton in any way. It's just early phases. D.R. Horton's about 5-6 years into it. Koa Ridge is only about 2 or 3 years into it. And so we've got 10, 15 years-ish of development, and what's it going to look like?
Yeah.
Right?
Koa Ridge doesn't have any flex.
Not right now, no.
Are they going to?
They are looking at, so in the Malukoa that we did a little, it's not a sneak preview for us. They've released now on Malukoa, which is mid-rise, similar to a Nahele. Let me go back to that for you guys and give Jody a little peek. So this is going to be 4-story. First floor will have no mixed use on this first release. This is going to be all residential. These are going to go studio mid-5s, 3-bed just over $1 million, like $1,015,000 to $1,050,000, and then just accordingly in between mid to upper 6s for 1s, 810 to 890 on the 2s. There's a pretty decent range on the 2s. And then they're going to do another building here, all residential on this one, but as we talked to the crew over at Koa Ridge in their office, the way that this is set up, they're looking at doing some mixed use potentially on the 2 lower or more south end developments. So this is going to be a quad with a village around it, green space, no pool, no gym. They're not going to do anything town style amenities. Just going to be more suburban, but with the vibe of town mid-level density and mid-rises. But they're looking and considering doing mixed use on these 2 buildings. But Malukoa West and East are supposed to be all residential, as I understand it. So, but yeah, great question. Mixed use in Koa Ridge would be huge. There's also going to be a senior neighborhood here. They're doing commercial. There's a medical complex. So they're doing
and that area already has everything.
Yeah. I mean, if we pull that back up on the map, you've got between Kamehameha Highway and H2, you have everything. You've got
everything.
Yeah. So you can see that it gets, I wouldn't say industrial, but it's strong commercial.
Yeah.
In here, you've got restaurants, Foodland, fast food, local restaurants, Starbucks, there's auto shops, all of that. And then you've got Costco, and then you've got car dealerships on the H2 side. Over here is Hyundai, Nissan.
And then you have soccer, tennis.
Yeah.
Everything at Corpse. Where is that? I don't even.
This is the.
I'm very confused.
This is the huge.
There it is.
Yeah. So up the Farrington Highway side, west side, if we're splitting this, is a huge regional park.
Yeah.
Patsy Mink.
Yep. Central Oahu Regional Park.
Right. So you've got soccer fields, baseball fields, softball fields, pool, playgrounds. Just, I mean, great place to have a birthday party and just throw up tents and have a Saturday afternoon barbecue there. So it's a great area. And again, it's central. So you're super accessible to the North Shore if you want to go and have a weekend up there. It's not so close to Waianae. Again, thanks for that question. But it's probably 20 minutes to town, 30 minutes to the windward side, give or take. And you can shoot down into Eva. You can go right up into Mililani. You're basically just a neighborhood south of Mililani. Pearl Ridge, Aiea, Pearl Ridge Mall, all of that are super, super close to everything. You're not one-sided. You're not living in Waianae, working in town. You're not living in Kaneohe and working in Aiea, just as an example, right? So do we have any more? Okay. Thank you for that. Claudia Garcia. Sentiment is growing. Direct your comment to okay. JK. Thoughts on condo townhome market in Kailua, Kaneohe right now? Things sitting longer. No, actually, I've got a couple of clients, one single family home more, but we have that one's mutual. And then another one's actually decided to rent because he just couldn't catch one. So I would say no to that, JK. Their prices may be a little bit better than they were a few months ago, but inventory is still moving pretty darn quickly in those two neighborhoods. And I don't foresee that changing. There's just such a high demand and low inventory, and those are two hot pockets. The Hawaii market in general, the Oahu market in specific, are always going to have that higher demand than inventory available. But Kailua specifically is, I would say, a number one on speed to react and get in, and holds its prices up a bit. Kaneohe is probably a close second, with maybe Mililani. Kapolei would probably be 3s and 4s. Pearl City, Aiea are areas that are in demand, but there's so little inventory.
Yeah.
Great question. Thank you for that, Jay. I would say no, unfortunately. Very quick moving markets over there. What else do we have? Claudia Garcia. Okay. This whole insurance increase nightmare and assessments make it hard to buy right now. I don't disagree. Insurance, man. I just don't like talking about insurance.
What Derek likes to say is that it really depends on your trajectory of ownership.
That is a very fair point.
If you have the staying power, and if, like, for example, we are going to close on a couple, an awesome couple, they will be here. Like, they will be once we close, they're going to live there for the next 15 years, maybe more.
Maybe more.
And even if they choose to upsize, they're not going to sell this property.
Right.
So because they have the staying power and they can put their blinders on and they can just say, this is my property that I'm going to own, they're going to be able to weather this storm of, like, getting their foot in the door. And then once we have our solution, then their exit strategy is not going to be a problem. Our concern is for people that that want to take a dip in, make an investment, and end up better off on the flip side for when they sell. And if your window of ownership is only 36 months, 24 months, 36, 60 months, that's when we're not sure what that exit is going to look like.
Right. I agree 100%. It's this is a buy and hold market. Setting insurance aside, when you add that layer in, makes it even more important to understand if the job is bringing you here and you have to come, and that job is solid and the income is correct and you have the ability to buy, we're probably still going to recommend that you do, if we're looking at more than 3 to 5 years. The longer you stay, the better it looks. And I don't think the insurance thing isn't going to go away. We're just going to know what the end game is and see it and know that it's not going to continue to rise like it is now. I think it's a now problem that we'll have to adjust to. And so the staying power is important to adjust to it and keep it within working figures. And then the longer you hold it, the better off you are.
Right.
So again, please just reach out to us. We're here to answer those questions, and we do appreciate that one. There are some nightmare scenarios that we're working through and still making it happen for those that do. And we're also okay with saying, hey, you know what, let's pivot and move to a different building, or maybe we just hold off for a minute and see what's going to happen. And we're doing all we can in advance of getting you into escrow and getting you into home ownership to make sure that there aren't any surprises in the immediate. So have I missed anything, Kinj? We're all good? All right. You might have a new client. My wife and I are going to have a discussion about this 0% thing.
Yay.
Because I think we're under 45%. and we have been talking about adding to our portfolio. And now that we don't have to refi our very nice VA loan,
Yeah.
we do have some cash for closing. We just don't have 20%.
Right.
So I might be your first one on that, because
Yay,
we've
that would
definitely
be
been talking
awesome.
about doing that. So, Kenj, if we're all good and clean. All right. Really, really quickly, guys, again, if you have any lending questions, we would love to connect you with Pacific Rim Mortgage and Jody and her team. Quick, easy way to do that. Go to coreteamhawaii.com. Either hit that book a call and or go down to the bottom. We prefer you go down to the bottom. Give us some basic contact info. We will reach out to you. We are not... we're not gonna hunt you down. We're not gonna chase you. We're not gonna bombard you. We would like to know if you have questions, and we would love to be your source of information. Please fill that form out. Likely first step would be a call from our team assistant, Charlotte, and then we can make sure that one of us is touching on any questions you might have, any information you're looking for, whether that's Malukoa, whether that's Ho'opili, whether that's lending and having you have a conversation with Pacific Rim, or maybe there's resale single-family homes out there that you're looking at. Let us know. We want to be your source. All right? You guys have a great afternoon. Thanks for joining us.